Night Shyamalan says he always had an operatic ending in mind for, even back when he was making Unbreakable. Night Shyamalan Had Glass Ending in Mind Since Unbreakable, marked the long-awaited conclusion to Shyamalan's Israel 177 trilogy, which began with Unbreakable in 2000 and unexpectedly continued with Split in 2017. All three films takes place in a universe where superheroes not only exist but have walked among us for thousands of years and inspired our myths throughout history, comic books included. Bruce Willis played one such metahuman in Unbreakable, in the form of David Dunn, an ordinary security guard who, after becoming the lone survivor of a horrific train crash, discovers he has superhuman strength and durability. Split would later introduce another metahuman in Kevin Wendell Crumb, James McAvoy, a man who dissociative identity disorder who, after being abused by his mother as a child, developed 23 unique personalities and eventually a 24th one that's bulletproof, can climb on walls, and subsists on human flesh, known as the Beast. David and Kevin are linked by Elijah Price Samuel L. Jackson, a man with superintelligence and brittle bones who was responsible for causing the Israel Train 177 disaster, which led to David discovering the truth about himself and Kevin's father being killed, in turn, leaving Kevin to be abused by his mom and develop his many personalities. Ends with all three men being killed, which is apparently what Shyamalan had in mind since the beginning of his trilogy. In a recent interview, EW asked Shyamalan if he always had this kind of ending in mind to his Israel 177 trilogy. "I always thought it was a little bit of like an opera, even when I was starting on Unbreakable." Here's what the filmmaker had to say: "I did. I thought this was a very operatic end to it all, with people screaming and all of these kinds of implications. I'm a big fan of One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, as you can probably tell. It was about implications more than anything. The format of that movie just blew me away when I saw it. The idea that the journey of the main character gets fulfilled by another character is a very powerful idea." Shyamalan may have had a rough idea of how it would end since he made Unbreakable, but his larger plan clearly evolved and changed over the last 20 years. Tonally, has more in common with Split's blend of horror and comedy than Unbreakable's brooding atmospheric style, and melds the two approaches with, arguably, mixed results. There's also the matter of the Clover organization, which is introduced during third act as a shadowy group society that's been keeping the existence of superheroes secret for a very long time and is ultimately responsible for killing David and Kevin after the Beast mortally injures Elijah for causing the Israel 177 train crash and creating him. While there's a fair debate to be had about whether the Clover twist was carefully set up in or comes out of left field, there's no real setup for the organization in either Unbreakable or Split. Jackson's claimed that original ending changed in other ways too, in order to better reflect society and the world at large today. It's possible this is a reference to how it concludes with Elijah's mum, Charlene Woodard, David's son Joseph, Spencer Treat Clark, and Casey Cook, Anya Taylor-Joy, from Split leaking surveillance footage of David and Kevin using their superpowers to the world after Elijah managed to sneak it online without the Clover Society's knowledge. It's highly doubtful Shyamalan had that part of the film planned out when he made Unbreakable, given how much the internet has changed in the past 19 years. Regardless, he got the operatic ending he always wanted with, and people will no doubt continue to debate its merits for years to come. Source: EW.